Okay, let's go ahead and get into this cake story. This one is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, am I the astronaut for not serving cake to one of my coworkers? Ruh-roh. Throwaway, I, 24, love to bake as a hobby. I usually do desserts for friends and families and also occasionally bring stuff to the office to share with my coworkers. This past weekend was my friend's birthday, so she decided to celebrate it Monday since a lot of us had off work on Memorial Day. As a gift to her, on Sunday night, I made a delicious 4-layer chocolate cake with chocolate frosting to bring to her party. That sounds really freaking good. She was super appreciative and loved the cake. I realized that I had a lot of excess frosting after finishing making her cake, so I made a second, smaller 2-layer cake to bring to the office on Tuesday, yesterday, as a fun surprise. My coworkers seemed excited about the cake, and many thanked me, and I decided to cut it up around lunchtime to serve to people. As I was cutting up the cake, one of my coworkers, 40s, male, said, "You really need to work on your piping work with the frosting. It looks a little sloppy." Dude, come on now. Okay, now I'll be honest, the cake did look a bit sloppy. I was really only making it to use up the excess frosting left over from my friend's cake, so I did run out when I was piping a border around the edge of the cake. But I was also really annoyed because I went out of my way to make a cake just to be nice for my coworkers, and he felt he had to critique my work. It's not like I'm a contestant on Great British Bake Off here. It's also not like the cake was disgusting or poorly slapped together. It still tasted fine and just looked like an amateur cake, and I still put a lot of effort into it. Anyways, I responded by saying, "All right, then don't have any," and didn't hand him a piece. I realized I probably came off rude here, and he looked a little shocked and walked away. Later that day, I got a warning from our HR rep about being rude and not bringing baked goods in if I wasn't going to let certain people have any. So I guess he went to HR about it. Really, dude? Come on. I'll probably talk to HR about it later today and try to clear the air, but I don't know if I'm at fault and should apologize or if his comment was unwarranted. Yeah, his comment was unwarranted. And what did his HR complaint say? "I said something stupid and therefore I didn't get cake. I would like for you to reprimand her." Sir, who's actually at fault? Well, I mean, I said the stupid thing that led to me not getting the cake, but she was the one who withheld the cake and got offended by my saying something. So I'm offended that she was offended because I offended her. It's the circle of life. NTA. No, ma'am. If somebody's not going to be appreciative, they're not going to be appreciative at all, and they're just going to be like, that looks terrible. You should really work on doing a better job of this. Yes, of course I want one. Thank you. He was rude from the get-go, so I think in this case, you had every right to be like, yeah, okay, it's a small cake. You're going to be a dick. You don't get any. Sorry, asshole. The fact that he ran to HR and was that butthurt about it really just seals the deal here. If he had just sucked it up, it would be maybe a different conversation. I still think OP is NTA here, but if he had not gone to HR, it would have been like, well, maybe we don't really know, if he was just playing around or if this is just who he is or whatever. But the fact that he went to HR because he didn't get cake after he said something stupid seals the deal about who he is. And he's the asshole. OP is NTA here. No cake for you. She could be the cake Nazi. Yeah. It doesn't take much to offend the cake Nazi. No cake for you. It was probably just, she's serving cake and just intentionally left me out. I did nothing wrong at all. I was just standing there and had my hand out and she just said, "You don't get any." Apparently she doesn't like me. OP brought the cake, so she was essentially telling him, "You don't get any because you were rude." And I think it would probably work like that anywhere, even if he was at his own freaking parents' house and they were having cake. If he'd said something rude and shitty about the cake, he wouldn't get any. It was something that she didn't even have to do. She did it just to be nice. And, she could have kept that cake at home and worked on it all week. Worked on it like eating away at it all week. But instead, she brought it to work just to be nice. And homeboy's like, "It looks like my toddler made this." Let's look at the scale. Let's talk about this boy. So he said something stupid. Maybe he was trying to be constructive. What did he specifically say? He said, "You really need to work on your piping work with the frosting. It just looks a little sloppy." Why would you ever say that? If someone is handing you a free piece of cake, why would you ever be like, "Oh, it looks like my toddler drew this"? He definitely shouldn't have done it. He's at least a 2, going to HR after the fact. Does that bump him up? Going to HR for this makes him an ascon 1. I would agree with this. Saying it was a 2 thing. Going to HR afterwards and victimizing himself whenever he was the initial aggressor really bumps him up. He's a 1 because he messed with the effing cake. Don't offend the cake holder. Don't bite the hand that feeds you cake. Faux show. Going to HR like running to mommy. Candy Thunder is HR here, so, It really is running to mommy if I do it. I don't think I would find much reinforcement or solace in HR because normally if somebody's doing something stupid, it's me. So